Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this dose of celestial goodness. As always, thank you for joining me in this space and on this journey. I truly appreciate it. Now, this week's video is a little late, but I've had a really busy 2 weeks and very busy weekends, and I've had a very lovely time as usual, so don't feel bad for me. And I've also gotten really good reminders about the importance of living a full life and really living to the best that we can, especially in, crazy times, right? So, that being said, I was in a training class the week before last, and my instructor asked a question that really made me think and really just made me pause. She asked, how many of us know a foreign language? So there are many people in my class who knew a multitude of languages, and for some people in the class, English was their second language. Now, in my own life, I grew up with British English, and yes, there's slight differences with the US and British English as my first language, and also Jamaican Patois. Some people might say that Patois is a dialect, but there are a multitude of words that do come from other languages, and some sources even say that it's a blend of African languages, English, Arawakan, the indigenous language of Jamaica, French, Chinese, Portuguese, Irish, Scottish, and Spanish. Some even say that the primary foundation is from the Akan people of West Africa. Now, I took this little bit from Wikipedia because the construct and the construction of language does actually fascinate me. It's a whole nother nerdy topic, but it truly lives up to the Jamaican motto, out of many, one people. Jamaican Patois contains a lot of loan words, so many from, like I said, the Twi, which is a dialect of Akan, and some words from English, some from Spanish, Portuguese, Hindi, like I said, Scottish and Irish dialects. For example, the word se, S-E, means in the sense of like, he told me that. Im tell me se, taken from the Ashanti Twi, and another word, duppy, meaning ghost, is also a Twi word. Dupon, from the cotton tree root. Because there was this belief from the Akan people that malicious spirits could originate in the roots of trees. And this was common in both Jamaica and Ghana, and it originated particularly with the cotton tree, known in both places as Odam. The pronoun uno, used for the plural form of you, is taken from the Igbo language. And then there are words from Hindi, which include ganja, which is marijuana, jonga, crawdad, or crawfish. Pickney is another word meaning child, and that's taken from an earlier form of picanini, ultimately borrowed from the Portuguese pequenino, or Spanish pequeño for small. So maybe it's no wonder that when I was little and someone asked what I wanted to be, what I wanted my superpowers to be, I said polyglot. Very nerdy. No, I didn't want to be able to fly. Definitely did not want to become invisible, but I wanted to be able to speak with and to understand anyone, anywhere on the planet. A polyglot is someone who knows and is able to use several languages. This actually might have been what led me to pursuing studying different languages early on in my life. So when I was in middle school, I started learning Spanish, and that led me to an immersion high school. In high school, Spanish was my primary language. I also took French and Japanese. Now, when I started college, I studied Spanish as one of my majors. And then I also studied Japanese very intensely for 1 year. That's when I decided that I should probably focus more on Spanish since there were other things I wanted to major in as well. And Japanese was just a little too intense. In fact, for Japanese, we had to learn 3 alphabets: hiragana, kanji, and katakana. Kanji was by far the most difficult for me, but that led me to escaping back to Spanish, my first love, and it was a very welcome treat since I only had to deal with 1 alphabet that was a Romance language, like English. Now, during college, I spent time in the Dominican Republic and also in Madrid, Spain, honing my language skills. So when our instructor asked us to think about our language skills and our experiences learning another language, I could do a mental flashback of my process. She reminded us that when we start learning a new language, that we start with the basics, things like the alphabet, simple sentences, and numbers. But we also learn that we have to practice and we have to utilize what we learn. Repetition is one of the best ways to learn a language, but also immersing yourself in the language itself and the culture if you can. Now, I know that this advice can be applied in many areas of our lives, and it's my opinion, and this is just an opinion, that in today's day and age, many people are used to seeing the more advanced or finished product of something. Social media may have a role in this, but I do also think that a lot of humans want to start something and just be great at it. We want to be doing Picasso level artwork, and yet if we start and jump to that place without putting in the work, the practice, the time, and the focused energy, we can miss some valuable and important lessons. I had a conversation with a friend recently. There's someone that I've known in my life who has never taken the time to hone a craft. Whenever they see someone doing something that brings them joy, but mostly if it brings them attention, this person will start to do the thing. But after a while, they'll get bored with it. And some of that is because they find even things that look simple on the surface can take a lot of work on a substantive level. And so it is with most things in life. In Jamaica, they say, if you want good, your nose have to run. Now, essentially, that's saying if you want good things, you have to put in the work. I also think it discourages a lot of people when they don't become an overnight sensation. And I think the more common sensation and reality is that people put in the work, and those who keep at it despite feeling discouraged at times, that's what leads you to success. And that is some of the lesson of learning a foreign language. Some days are going to be hard. You aren't going to get it, you're going to say the wrong word, but you just keep practicing. And one day you will wake up, as I did, dreaming in Spanish. There's a delightful day when you get it. You get the thing that you have been practicing. One of my favorite writers is Robert Greene. In his book, Mastery, he says that it takes 10,000 hours of doing something to become a master at it. That book has so many amazing tidbits and treasures to support you on your own journey to mastering something, anything. For example, he says, some 2,600 years ago, the ancient Greek poet Pindar wrote, "Become who you are by learning who you are." What he meant is the following. You are born with a particular makeup and tendencies that mark you as a piece of fate. It is who you are to the core. Some people never become who they are. They stop trusting in themselves, they conform to the taste of others, and they end up wearing a mask that hides their true nature. If you allow yourself to learn who you really are by paying attention to that voice and force within you, then you can become what you are fated to be, an individual, a master. He also said this: think of it this way. There are two kinds of failure. The first comes from never trying out your ideas because you are afraid or because you are waiting for the perfect time. This kind of failure you can never learn from, and such timidity will destroy you. The second kind comes from a bold and venturesome spirit. If you fail in this way, the hit that you take to your reputation is greatly outweighed by what you learn. Repeated failure will toughen your spirit and show you with absolute clarity how things must be done. But the one I really love is this: in the future, the great division will be between those who have trained themselves to handle these complexities and those who are overwhelmed by them. Those who can acquire skills and discipline their minds, and those who are irrevocably distracted by all the media around them and can never focus enough to learn. So I suppose this is my challenge to you. What are you a master at? What is something that you can learn, that you can apply time, focus, and some intensity to learning beyond a superficial level? What is the thing that you feel passionately enough about that even when it feels like the odds are against you, that you will keep going? I want you to think about it, and then I want you to do it, one step at a time. Now, you might be wondering, how is she going to find a way to throw in some astrology? Because you knew that was coming. Astrology contains its own language. It requires time, focus, and practice to get good at it. So the same rules apply. When you learn the basics, the alphabet, the numbers, and the symbols, then you can converse in that language. When most people look at their birth chart for the first time, for example, they feel overwhelmed because they see symbols and numbers and lines that just don't make sense. However, it is all about the language of astrology, and it is a beautiful one. It's as melodic as the Romance languages falling off the tongue. So as a quick sort of introduction to some of the symbols that you might see when you look at a natal chart, you'll see the chart itself, you'll see the planets and their symbols, the houses, and the signs. Once you get a little bit more familiar with these symbols, then you will be able to start understanding the language of astrology. We'll get more into that in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to say a few words about the lessons that come from learning another language. Sam Altman said, "Hard work compounds like interest, and the earlier you do it, the more time you have for the benefits to pay off." So practice, take your time, don't be discouraged, and above all, just keep going. May the stars shine brightly over your week, and may it be a beautiful one indeed. Let me know in the comments what you are attempting to master or have already mastered. Maybe it's another language. And as always, if you are enjoying these blog posts and videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you. Thank you.